Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Akimmie Nicole, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you guys about my trip to Amsterdam. But before we do that, make sure you guys are smashing that subscribe button so you can get all of my notifications every time I post. I went to Amsterdam in December into January for New Year's, so this video is way overdue, but I think it was because I was thinking about it way too much. Like, how was I gonna put it together? Because I have vlog footage, but it's all over the place. Like, I couldn't make a story out of it. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just tell you guys how it went and post videos and pictures from my experience. I'll tell you how it went category by category. The first category is the traveling. I left from Boston and it was a 7-hour flight to Amsterdam, or Netherlands, to the Netherlands, Amsterdam. It was a 7-hour flight and we left Boston at about, I want to say 6 o'clock, and we got to Amsterdam at about 8 o'clock. And then when we got to Amsterdam, we exchanged our US dollars for euros. So when we first arrived, it was about, like I said, like 8 o'clock, 8:30, going on to 9. The sun was like just rising. Like, it was still kind of dark outside, which was like a little crazy. And it wasn't that cold, but it was raining. And who would have known that that will be the start of a very, very rainy trip? So when we got outside the airport, we took an Uber to our hotel. The hotel we stayed at was called Element, and it was really nice. It was connected to a mall and a supermarket and like restaurants and things like that. So everything is in one place and you are not in the middle of the city. We were about 10 minutes away from the center city, or they call it Central. But in Central is where like the hustle and bustle was, but where our hotel was very calm and just very relaxing. So when we got to the hotel, it was really nice, really cute hotel. They upgraded us to like a suite, which had like a full kitchen. It had like a stove, a dishwasher, dishes, everything like that. It had like a little lounge area and a dining area, and a bed all in one. It was really nice. And we had a nice bathroom with a stand-up shower. It was a really nice place, and it was really expensive, okay? Everything out there was expensive, everything. But the stay was really nice, and we had breakfast included, so we ate at breakfast every morning. That first day we got there, we slept until that evening, and then we met up with my friends. We went out to eat, and we just had a really good time. The next topic is going to be basically like the climate, the environment, like the people and culture of Amsterdam. We left on December 27th, got there December 28th, and we stayed there until about January 4th. Little did we know was this time of the year was rainy season. And when I say it rained every day, it rained every single day, okay? Mind you, the hairstyle that I chose, a V-part wig where I had to have leave out, which was a bad idea. Here we are again. Yet another rainy day in Amsterdam. This was the worst hairstyle to do this trip. Leave my hair out. I did not know it was gonna rain this much. Just so you know, December and January is rainy season in Amsterdam if you decide to go. Other than the fact that it rained every single day, Amsterdam was like very beautiful. Like, everything about it was very beautiful. It was historic. The architecture was really nice. They had cobblestone streets, very like old-timey. I don't know how to explain it, but like very European, like old European, really nice. And it was greenery everywhere. Like, I would love to go back to see like Amsterdam in full bloom in the spring or the summertime, because it was so green and lush, even though it was cold. Not as cold as Boston or New York, but it was still, you know, it was the winter time. It was covered, like everywhere you went was surrounded by water. I feel like the whole country is surrounded by water. It was canals everywhere. You see little boat houses. It was really cute. It was a really cute place to go, and like very picturesque. The people there were really cool, really friendly. They were like cool kids, you know, like everybody was so chill and like relaxed, and the culture was very, very chill. And they had like this dry sense of humor. Like, it came off as sarcasm a little bit, but they were still very friendly. Like, don't take that as them being not friendly unless you're just sensitive, but they have like this dry humor. And just like the culture was very chill. Like, everybody was not in a rush to do anything. Like, stores opened up when they wanted to open up. Like, if it said 8 o'clock in the morning it was open up, best believe it might open up at 9 or 10 o'clock. They was coming when they wanted to come. But everybody was just chill. It was like no stress. Like, no stress at all. Everything was calm. Unless you was in the center city, everything else was really calm. And like outside of Amsterdam, it seems like the rest of Netherlands is like countryside. Like, in my head, I imagined it being like hustle and bustle all the time based on like what I seen on TV, but it's really not. By 10, 11 o'clock, everything is closed except for like in the red light district, things stay open until 2 a.m. but everything else is closed. It's hard to get an Uber. Like, they like, we going to bed. The next topic is transportation. I feel like we could have rented a car if we would have knew. If we would have did a little bit more research, we would have rented a car, because we ended up taking Ubers everywhere. We didn't want to have to be traveling in the rain everywhere we went, especially me, because my hair was puppy the whole time. Ubers were taxing, okay? They were expensive. They were so expensive. Like I said, we was 10 minutes outside of the city, and most of the time we were going into the city, and it was expensive just to go 10 minutes. They had public transportation. They had buses and trains, which were pretty frequent. They ran frequently, because we ended up taking a bus and train a couple times because Ubers were really selective about where they would pick you up. So like, you would have to walk a mile to like the pickup spot, because they're not going to come pick you up in front of the building that you're at. They'll drop you off in front of it, but they're not going to pick you up. So we ended up like taking the bus and train certain times, which was really easy. It was inexpensive, much cheaper. Like, if it wasn't for the rain and the fact that it was cold outside, we would have been on a bus and train the whole time. And it was pretty clean, pretty easy to read, because things were in English as well. It was easy to follow. The only thing is, after a certain time, they cut off services to certain buses and trains. If you missed your bus to that part of town, like, baby, you walk in. And we learned the hard way. Another mode of transportation that literally everybody uses is bikes. Bikes here, bikes there, bikes everywhere. It was bikes everywhere. There was so many bikes. Like, we were walking next to mountains and mountains of bikes. Like, it was crazy. And I'm like, geez, no wonder Ubers are expensive, because everybody got a damn bike. So of course, the one thing I did Google before I went there is food. So our next category is food. Googled it, and I was like, oh, what are some famous things that, like, famous foods in Amsterdam? And they said waffles, fries, and Dutch pancakes. And they had a couple of pastries that they spoke about too that I'll mention later, but because I don't know how to pronounce some of them. We kept asking that, like, where are we gonna eat? Okay, because we had breakfast at the hotel, but we didn't know where to go after that. But they were like, yeah, we don't have good food. They just not known for food. And we learned that the hard way, because I think we ate cheeseburgers maybe like every day. And don't get me wrong, the cheeseburgers were good, but we had a cheeseburger or a chicken burger, and a chicken burger is basically a fried chicken sandwich. And we ate that and fries every day. Yeah, the food wasn't that good, and it was expensive. They charge you for mayonnaise, lettuce, tomatoes. They charge you for ketchup. They charge you for every little thing that you want on your food. So it was just expensive to eat. You know, now that I think about it, we really didn't eat that much. We really didn't eat a lot. And they have a couple pastries. Like, they have this little waffle treat. I'll insert a video here of me trying that. It tastes good?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Stroke the waffle. Stroke it waffle. Stroke the waffle. So this would be good with some ice cream.
This is good, actually. It has like caramel in the middle. And then they had this New Year's like pastry that reminded me of like a zeppoli, and it was everywhere. Like, at every street vendor they had these pastries called Oli bowls, and I'll insert a video here of the guy talking about it.
You also want this one?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I will do it in the same bag. Is that okay?
Yes, that's
fine. You get
fine.
some powder and poedersuiker. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So that's €3.75.
And how do you pronounce it?
It's oliebol.
Oliebol?
This is an oliebol, and that's
Oliebol.
appelbeignet. It's a very Dutch tradition. Everybody eats like blood, as you see.
Yeah.
So it's like I think millions and millions of these things are baked throughout the whole Netherlands.
The cheese was probably the biggest thing, and we went to a whole cheese tour. And I guess I'll talk more about the cheese tour when we get to the things to do. So, like I mentioned earlier, like Amsterdam is like a really historical place. There's like so many things to do. We did something every single day that kind of took up the whole day because it was just a lot to do. You can't be there and be bored because there's always something you can do. So I split up the things that we did into two categories. I split up the tours that we did and the museums that we visited. So for the tours, one of the tours that we did was the Volendam Day Tour, which was really, really cool. I can talk about it, but instead I'll just insert videos of each stop that we ended up doing. So our next stop is a cheese manufacturer in Edam, and this is the largest cheese production place in Amsterdam. And they talked about how the longer you let cheese sit on the shelf, the better it tastes.
See the one? It looks like nothing is happening. That's also a windmill. We go to.
Another thing that we did was a canal cruise. It was supposed to be like this light festival going on, but child, the best part about the canal cruise was the open bar. It's cool because even the person that was like the tour guide, he was cracking jokes on the light sculptures as we were looking at it like, what the heck, what is this? So it was really cute, but we were really drinking a lot of wine. By the time we got off that cruise, we were lit. Then another tour that we did was the Anne Frank tour. It was a really good tour, but it rained like crazy. When I tell you I was miserable because it was cold and it was rainy, and it was just a bad day for a tour. But they took us through the city and things like that. We got to see the Anne Frank Museum, which was closed for some reason, I don't know, but there was like no tickets to go see it, so we just did a tour instead. And the tour was very like informative. Like I was just like, I don't want to take no pictures, I don't want to take no videos, I'm over it. Like I was done, but it was still worth it. So moving on to museums, the first museum that we went to was called the Slot Castle. And I guess we didn't do enough research on that, but I'm like, oh yes, I want to see a historical castle. So we went to go see this castle, and it ended up being a war castle. Now that's not a bad thing, but all of the luxury things that we thought we were gonna see, like, no, we didn't see chandeliers and jewels and things like that. No, we seen boulders, we seen holes where people pooped in and used the bathroom in, and then we seen like armor and everything like that. And it was a lot of kids there, so if you're there and you have kids, that would be a perfect place to like bring your kids, because they had so many activities for kids. It was kids running around everywhere. And we also did like a listening tour. So they give you these little cassettes, and it basically has like a station that you can go for each one, and you press the button, it'll play at that station based on where you go next, like that. So it teaches you about the castle and everything like that. It was a really nice tour. Another museum that we went to was the Van Gogh Museum, and when I tell you, I felt like I was in my element. Like everything about that museum was like, why don't I go to museums more often? And we had like a tour guide bring us through the museum and like talk us through his phases of life and like his art and how it progressed. And it just made the experience so much better. I'm like, every time I go to a museum, I want a tour guide, because this was absolutely worth it. So the Rijks was another very popular place, and we had to pick between the two because the tickets for tours, like the tickets for museums, and if you want a tour attached to it, was like $175 like a piece. So it's like, baby, we gotta pick which one we want. We can't do both. So my friends did the Rijks, and we did the Van Gogh, and she sent me a couple of pictures of the Rijks, and she's like, it takes like 2 days to get through the Rijks. Another museum we ended up going to was the Upside Down Museum, Amsterdam, and it was so cute. It was very cute. It was like an interactive museum. Really, it was nothing historical about it. It was really just to have fun, and we had such a good time there. We felt like big kids. It was a place to go and be a big kid. It was no kids there, so you were the kid. That was just something fun for us to do. So now the nightlife, and this is probably one that you guys have been waiting for. It was interesting. Okay, so let's talk about the red light district. I think that was the place we really wanted to go see, and it ended up being very interesting. Like, it was not what I expected, and not in the best way. When we got there, it's dark, it's no street lights. It's like I'll insert a picture of what I could take a picture of, because filming and pictures were illegal there. Like, you could not take pictures and videos, and the reason you couldn't, because there were, like, you know, workers, like sex workers there, and they were behind. It was very animalistic, to say the least, because they were behind like these glass doors, which were like rooms, and you can see them, like, either they're naked or they're in like their, you know, their lingerie or whatever it is, like, you know, showing off. And they're like, some people are just, honestly, some girls was there and they was on their phones texting, and then some girls was like pointing at people like, you come here, you know, doing all of that. So that's why you couldn't take videos or anything like that. And we noticed that, like, in order to get service, like, a guy can go up to the door that they are at and like talk a little something, and they close the curtains of the door of the window or door that they are in. They close the door, they close the curtain, and then a person like walks around to like some little alley, and I guess there's another entrance there. And it was just like, oh shoot, I did not expect to see this. The red light district was overwhelming and underwhelming at the same time, because I didn't know how to feel about those girls behind a glass. And then when you film them, they like bang on a glass and they open the door and they curse you out like in Dutch, because they spoke Dutch, not English. There are pubs everywhere. There's a bar and pub everywhere. You can go somewhere and get a drink anytime, any day. Like, it's that type of environment. And also smoking weed, that's another thing that we were like questioning, like, can you really smoke weed in the middle of the street? And you really can't. Like, they sell weed in cafes and coffee shops and cafes, and I don't know if they're gonna do this anymore, because my friend sent me an article about how they wanted to stop it because it was like causing too much like tourist attraction. So they were gonna put a stop to the weed, being able to smoke weed in public. But yeah, you could be in the middle of the day, you walking by and you just smell weed. So we didn't go to, I think we went to one pub, and then we ended up going to the ice bar one night, which was really cool. I'll insert some clips of that. It was really nice. It was really cold. Honestly, you could only stay in there for like 20 minutes. Like, it was 20 minutes and it was attached to another bar, which was not as cold. So it's like, you pay to get in and you get tickets, you get 2 shots or you get 2 beers or whatever. And literally, you could be in there long enough to take pictures and a couple of videos, but after that, you're like really in, it feels like you're in a freezer. So you don't really want to sit there and chill, sit down, have drinks. No, you just going in for the experience and then you're coming back out. But it was still nice to experience. And for New Year's, we were able to find like a little spot that played like hip-hop and R&B and like Afro beats and stuff like that. So for New Year's, we celebrated at a party, which we left early because we were tired, because we were still jet lagged on New Year's. And then the last night, we spent our last night at this place called Sky Lounge, which overlooks Amsterdam, which was beautiful, but it was freezing that day, so we didn't stay outside long. But it was really nice, really expensive. The food was trash, but yeah. So overall, how did I feel about Amsterdam? Honestly, I thought Amsterdam was worth the trip. Next time I go, I would love to go there for like a couple of days in the summertime to see it in full bloom, because I know it would be beautiful. And then maybe we can go to Belgium, because Belgium was about an hour away or 2 hours away in a bus or something like that. Yes, it was worth it. It was very fun. I enjoyed it. It's something to do. If you go there, you would not be bored. You would not be sitting around thinking about, what am I gonna do? That is my trip to Amsterdam. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you guys are subscribing, clicking the bell notification so you get notified every time I post. And make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at Akimmie Nicole _ and I will see you guys in the next video.